Falsely thoughts, race, life's a twisted place. No
Hey, Matthew, sorry about that.
You're fine. How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm all right. All right. So you any type of believer?
Yeah, I'm a Christian. What's your name,
You
by the
are.
way?
My name is Volsi.
Oh, let's go by Wilson. Okay.
Cool. All right, y'all. We are at 34 people in here. We're at 10.7K likes. We've been here for about 2 hours. I'm probably doing one more hour. Please go ahead and did we smash that goal already? Did we hit the goal? I think we did hit the goal, y'all. W goal. I appreciate y'all. Keep liking that live, y'all. All right, Mathis, what you got for me? Let's go ahead and talk for about 20 minutes.
So
What you
you're an
got?
atheist?
Yes, sir.
Um, I guess I'll let you decide what we talk about. I love it. I love any conversation, any topic you'd like. We can go on my reasons for belief in a God in general, or we can talk about the Bible or whatever you want to talk about.
Sure. Well, I have about 5 prompts up there. Let's see.
No good
With
reason to
me,
believe in God.
no good reason. Yeah, sure. Let's go with that.
So okay, hold on. Let's see here. Got some notes. So what do you do with it when the Big Bang theory first came out? A lot of scientists were shocked and appalled, and they were fought against it because um, they thought it was theological in essence to prove that the universe had a beginning and not eternal, because they were adamant that it was eternal, because if the universe had a beginning, it had to have a beginner, and they fought against it, but it became basically the standard belief for scientists that the Big Bangs happened because they kept on proving it. And if something has a beginning, it has to have a beginner. I don't know what you do with that.
All right. The Big Bang actually doesn't say that you know there like the universe can't be eternal. What the Big Bang actually says, because that is a misnomer. What the Big Bang is actually about is the expansion of the expansion of space as far as we know it or the expansion of something from a singularity. Now, the entire thing with that is essentially um where that singularity came from or why it did what it did. That's something that we don't know. You know what I mean? That's basically it. All it is. We don't know why the singularity, did what it did, or why it expanded the way that it did, or where it even came from. That doesn't mean that suddenly there is something outside of it that must have started it. All that is just there was a singularity, and yeah, they did think that the universe was static at a certain point. That is true. They thought that it was eternal, but this is the way science works.
I
When
I
there's new
I,
information,
I agree with you.
yeah, when new
Um,
information comes up,
your response to that
they
is
go
we
to new
just don't
information.
know, and we'll find out someday maybe.
Exactly.
But you got to admit though that does kind of line up with what theists have believed.
No, but the thing is about the Big Bang. The Big Bang doesn't say that that was the beginning of all space, time, and everything in the universe.
Oh,
It's just that
it
is
kind of certainly does because, well, I mean, it depends on how you interpret it. Of course, there's many theories, but I think it's pretty well recognized that time and space came out of a singular point uh, from basically nothing. Uh, and everything erupted out.
but that's not what the Big Bang actually says.
I mean, my understanding of it after researching it for quite a while, that's basically a summary of it.
Right. I mean, that's a summary of like the presentation of our current
I
universe.
mean, that's
But
one
like,
way to interpret what we know.
mhm.
Obviously, there's lots of theories, but that's just one way. We can move on.
Huh?
I'll move on from that since it's something where we just don't know for sure. But I feel like it's one point of evidence. So my argument would be, uh, not one thing can prove it, but it's
Mhm.
all these aspects prove, or at least are evidence that there is a God, and it's reasonable to believe in a God. Um, the next one would be the fine tuning argument, which
Mhm.
I'm sure you're familiar with.
Just a
How?
little bit.
Sure. Let me. I don't have that pulled up. Well, the fine tuning argument is pretty convincing to me. That
Mhm.
all the aspects, like gravity itself, is fine tuned to, like I think it's 1 in 10 to like the 30th or 60th power,
Mhm.
basically one with 60 zeros after it. And every force is this fine tuned perfectly, and we know scientifically that if they were off just a tiny, 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 tiny infinitesimal bit, uh, life, the universe as we know it, would not exist.
Okay. So this is actually another misnomer. Because I think this comes from like the Creation Institute. That part is actually not true either. Like there's been models of other constants on these forces, and life very much is possible. It just wouldn't be the universe as we understand it. These are the constants for
The
this
strong
universe as
force itself. If the strong
Mhm.
force or the weak force,
Mhm.
I need to. I don't know. Wait, I have notes on this somewhere.
No, I understand what you're saying. Like, because I've heard this before. Like the strong force, the reforce, gravity. If they were off by certain parameters, then the universe wouldn't exist. What they're actually saying, what science actually say, is that the universe that we see now, as we know it,
No,
probably won't exist.
but
There
you
will
wouldn't
be
even
other
have
laws of
planets.
physics.
You wouldn't even
Hmm?
have planets. Like matter itself would be just thrown out, and maybe you wouldn't get the Big Bang. I think there's like some of them could be adjusted into ways where you still have potential for life, but a lot of them you wouldn't have potential for life if they're adjusted.
But that's not.
Well, I'll tell you this: the reason why it's convincing to me is because there's lots of scientists that are so troubled by it that they've theorized the multiverse. If it's not a problem, why are they scrambling to explain it away by coming up with a fairy tale of some kind of universe creating mechanism? Sure. No, the Bible is not scientific. I'm not trying to sound smart. I love this stuff. I read about it and I've watched a lot about it. I don't know if I'm a very good communicator, so I probably don't sound smart. It doesn't have to be a God, but I think it's, if you look at all the lines of evidence, it's reasonable to believe there's a God.
Hey, sorry about that.
You're fine.
All right, so shit. Yeah, sorry about that. All right, so when you talk about when it comes to the fine tuning and all these like parameters, like I was saying, they're not saying that life as we know it won't exist. It'll simply be a different kind of existence. They're not saying that there will be no existence at all. It'll just be a different type of existence than what we know. And when it comes to when it comes to like the multiverse and everything like that, that's more to do with string theory and causality and things like that. It's not about the fine tuning argument. Therefore, if these things don't happen, therefore life doesn't exist. So we have to come up with a whole other thing.
I think I don't know how you could have a universe with life in it if you don't even have planets forming. So I don't.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That they're not saying that there wouldn't be planets or anything wouldn't exist.
Oh yeah,
Existence
yeah.
is
You
still
wouldn't have
here, it'll
planets if
just
some
be
of these were altered
different.
very little.
Say that again.
I don't have the exact numbers pulled up, but there would not be planets if the weak force was altered a little bit.
There would not be planets if the weak force was altered a little bit.
Right,
I don't
because or if gravity was altered, you wouldn't have these things form. You could, I mean, I can find you if you want. I can find you some videos that go over the data on that. But
yeah, I don't because I haven't seen any data about that. Like there would be planets. It just wouldn't be like what we understand. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Well, we'll move on to my favorite argument for God. Because we disagree on that. And that's the moral argument. And I don't know how an atheist can have absolute morals. I don't think you can. And I believe absolute morals exist, and I think we all know it deep down that they do.
Well, you said absolute morals.
Mm-hmm.
Now do you know absolute morals exist?
I think it's just intuitive to all of us that they do.
It's not.
Okay. Is rape ever okay?
Nope.
How do you know that?
Because it harms people.
What if it didn't harm people? What if
I don't
what if
see-
what if the person that you're raping is partially brain dead? Is that okay?
No, that's because it just feels disgusting to me.
But why? Why is it wrong?
I just don't want. It's not preferable. I just don't want to do it
If it's not hurting anybody, why isn't that wrong?
because I don't want to do it.
I'm not asking why you don't want to do it. I'm saying why is it morally, objectively wrong?
Why is it morally wrong to rape a dead body?
Yeah.
Because it's you're defiling another. You're still defiling someone that passed away.
But they're not there.
Because there's no consent there. Like
They can't. They're
they can't
you
consent.
don't believe
Exactly.
they're still there or that they go on. So it's just chemicals
Right, but
smashing against.
there's no consent.
How could there be consent if there's no one there?
Exactly. So it's wrong. It's great.
But you're not making sense, man.
Okay, rape is sex without consent. There's no consent, or there can't be consent, then it's rape. Rape is wrong
Why is it wrong though?
because it's a violation. You're violating someone else. I don't understand what
But
you're
if that person is dead, how are you violating them?
because you're not they're not consenting to that.
Sorry, unalive. See, I told you I wouldn't say the right words. So I can come up with a bunch of examples, and I probably should have a list of these if I'm going to talk to people about this. But where we know it's wrong, but there's no ground to say it's wrong if you're atheist because you can't tag it to anything. There has to be a moral giver. Otherwise, it's all we're just making it up as we go.
Yeah, there's a moral giver. Me.
Well, what if you said that? What if you're Hitler or can you say his name?
We have to say Hitler. Well, we just have to say Mustache Man. Yeah, Mustache. The reason why what Mustache Man did was because my morals are not based on just what a personal person says. We live in a society, right? We're a socially dependent species. You feel me? We depend on social interdependence.
Right.
That's how we live. Yeah, I mean, and not only that, we just have empathy. You feel what I'm saying? There is no society where what Mustache Man did, what he did, is going to be a good society, and we see that because it caused an entire war to go to war.
You're not. I don't think it makes sense to me.
Okay, so let me explain it this way. The way that we decide the way that I decide morality, and the way that I've seen even everyone decide morality are based on three things: well-being for the maximum amount of people, reduction of harm, and negative and positive consequences. Those three things is what I've seen all morality based off of. You feel what I'm saying? So even if we don't have an objective standard, we still can make objective observations because of negative and positive consequences.
But what if we're wrong?
Wrong about what?
Well, for instance, it was okay. It was the norm in the world for slavery at one point,
and that had negative consequences.
It did, but people justified it, and the culture approved it somehow. And throughout all of history, like every single race on earth has been in slavery.
Understood, but it still had negative consequences.
I agree with you, but they were justified at that time. And today we do things that have negative consequences, but we consider them okay.
Yeah, it was justified at that time, and it was justified in the Bible. And we can go to that too. But the thing what I'm trying to get to you is that even if there's no objective sky moral giver, we can still look at positive and negative consequences. And slavery having all the negative consequences doesn't require a God for us to know that it's wrong.
And I'm
That's
terrible.
what
I feel like I'm terrible at this, man. I watch these lives and I have so many thoughts and I get on it and I'm so nervous that I got nothing, man.
no, you're good. You're fine. So it's all good and well. I like to have these discussions. I don't think I'm that good at it either. If there's plenty of other people like Skits and Justin and Thinker and Sebastian, and Harry and Ian. Those guys are way better at this than I am. That's why I don't have their subscriber count. But but that's what that's what I would say in from what I could look at. Like, we don't need to appeal to a moral giver if we could just look at the consequences of things.
I mean, if you go back to that first example, I still don't think I see a negative there that would say that's wrong. So I don't know how you justify it.
For slavery?
No, not slavery. Raping a dead body or graping a dead body or unalive body.
I mean, look, when it comes to graping a dead body, at the end of the day, like, as a human being, I just have that type of empathy. You know what I'm saying? I know that this was a person with a family before. So why would I even?
Well, I know you know it's wrong,
Mhm.
but I don't know how you justify that it's wrong
Empathy.
on an atheist perspective, because who are you empathizing with if that person is dead or unalive?
Who that person used to be and their family.
But now they're just a decaying corpse that it's not a person anymore.
Yeah, it's just a body now, but it used to be a person, and that person still has a family.
That's not the person anymore, though.
Yeah, but they still have a family. Why would I do that to their family?
You're not.
I wouldn't want somebody to grate my body when I'm dead.
If they would,
okay.
In this scenario, say they'd never find out.
Still, I wouldn't want that to happen to my body. I wouldn't do that to anybody else. Straight up empathy.
But say you didn't feel that way. Say someone did feel that it was okay because no one's going to find out. Is that person wrong? And what makes them wrong?
I think that person is wrong, and most people will think that person is wrong. To them, they aren't, because they just don't feel that empathy.
Well, I know it's obviously wrong, but that's what I'm pointing to. I'm pointing to the fact that there is objective morals that we just feel intuitively. And where does that come from?
Empathy.
It doesn't come from evolution.
Yeah, it does, because as a social species, we develop empathy.
I feel like evolution, we have a drive. If evolution is true, we have this drive to do things, and I don't know where that would be selected out for. There's many scenarios that I'm drawing a blank to come up with. I'm gonna have to make a list if I ever have this conversation again, where it would make sense in an evolutionary sense for us to do these certain things, but there's something in us that we know it's evil, and so we don't.
I mean, from an evolutionary standpoint, if we're a species that depends on each other, and we're a species that live in social settings and we depend on each other, it's counterproductive to antagonize people of the other members of your species. That's completely counterproductive, because you just won't survive. You see what I'm saying? And every single time when we see this happen in hunter-gatherer societies back in the prehistoric times, if there was someone that antagonized their neighbors and they were kicked out, it was they basically didn't survive. You see what I'm saying? We depend on each other. That's how we develop empathy. Right. We also see this with every single social species. Elephants have empathy. Rats have empathy. You see what I'm saying? Because they're a social species, and they need that interdependence. So, like, from an evolutionary standpoint, the reason why we don't murder and eat babies is because, like, doing something like that is counterproductive to our survival. Because if I have neighbors and I murder and eat their babies, and we make that normal, they're gonna murder and eat my babies.
I understand that argument. I understand that there's some logic there, but I feel like it falls apart. And it doesn't go all the way to what we intuit naturally.
Well, how doesn't it? Because this seems to be something that's pretty obvious that antagonizing my neighbor is counterproductive to my survival. There's no reason to do that. And if we do that over a long period of time, we're gonna develop something called empathy.
For instance, like I don't know if I could say this, but like post nut clarity, like we are driven to procreate, and that you could explain that with evolution, of course. What is this post nut clarity though, where when you do it in a way that is somehow you feel dirty and wrong about, what does that come from?
Maybe I didn't understand your question. Can you say that one more time?
You gonna make me say post nut clarity again?
Where is the regret of doing something wrong? Where does it come from?
Well, it's almost like a meme when people feel dirty, or they feel
bad.
They feel like they did something wrong. But I feel like if there is no objective morals, where does that feeling come from? You should not feel bad about looking at internet videos and doing that act, and yet I know it's a common thing.
I would say two things. Essentially, it comes with two things. Number one, we're just socialized that way. You know what I mean? That's number one. But the second thing I would say is it would again come just from those feelings of empathy, remorse, sadness. All that could be explained through evolution, because if we didn't have these things, our species wouldn't survive for long, or we would be a solitary species. You know what I mean? Like bears and tigers. Humanity wouldn't survive for long. We'll just be bears and tigers in the woods. But there wouldn't be millions of us, basically.
Okay.
That's what I would say. All right, we got 2 more minutes left. Do you have anything else for me?
Oh, we can wrap it there.
All right, I appreciate you being up here.
Thank you for having me, and God bless you.
Not a problem. Have a good one.
You too.
All right, y'all, I do apologize if I don't sound as clear anymore. It's because my phone battery was dying. I had to hook my charger up. Y'all give me a few more minutes, right? I just want to figure something out. Give me 1 second. Oh man. All right, y'all, give me a second to bring somebody to bring the next person up. Just give me 1 moment to bring the next person up. I do hope y'all can hear me. Let me know if y'all can hear me. Can y'all hear me? Okay, so everybody can hear me, right? All right, cool. All right, Dreadhead, I do see you, but I'm gonna bring Mr. Joseph up first, and I'll bring you up next, all right? That's if Mr. Joseph is still here.
Yes.
You are there. How's it going, man?
It's going good. I noticed the topic is Talk to Me, I'm an Atheism, but everybody's talking about their religious beliefs. I'm really confused by that. My questions are, so what is it like to be an atheist? have you grown in the last 3 years from where you were? Is life better for you than it was 3 years ago? How is
Actually, yeah.
atheism helping you? That's what I want to know.
Atheism is not a tool to help me. Atheism is just a position on whether or not I believe in a God.
So just by random chance, whatever happens in life is how you have to go through life then.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's how it is for all of us.
Okay, that's how it is for all of us?
Yeah, whatever happens, happens, and we just deal with it.
Oh, well, okay. All right. So basically, how many people have you seen die?
Let's see. Like see in front of me die?
Yes, died in front of you through time. Maybe through cancer or other diseases or
All
whatever.
through cancer. Because I have seen people shot before, so that has happened. Let me see. I would say, yeah, I saw someone get shot. Two of my godmothers had brain cancer and they passed away. My grandmother had colon cancer. She passed away from that. Let's see. One of my godmothers had a heart attack. 3 people in my dad's church died from COVID. They were unvaccinated, by the way. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, I've seen people die.
Okay. And how does that make you feel?
Pretty bad. Like I don't like seeing people die. Like it's because I was close to these people. Like I love my godmothers. I love my grandma. That was my closest grandma. You know, that person who got shot. Like he literally said bye to me. I'll see you later. And 5 minutes later, he was dead. You know what I'm saying?
Is this something you fear?
Death?
Yes.
I fear dying in the socially statistical way. And if you know the social statistics of America, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't want to die that way. But as far as dying, not being around anymore, I'm not really afraid of that. Because it's gonna happen to us all one day.
Right. It's going to happen to you all. Is it something you look forward to?
Nah, of course not.
So you don't look forward to it. So what you have right now is the best that you can ever have.
Pretty much.
So this show is designed to do what? How is this show
say that one more time,
helping
please?
somebody? How does this show help somebody to be a better them?
Well, this is not about being a better person. If you want to be a better person, you should go to therapy, which is what I plan to become. I plan to become a therapist, and I will do therapy lives when I'm a therapist. When I'm actually a licensed therapist, I will do therapy live. That's a promise. But this is about discussing our different aspects of our worldviews, and it's about normalizing people like myself. Because again, according to the hold on, Joseph. Because of people like myself, statistically. I'll just say it. Black people are statistically the most religious people out there. And being someone who's not a believer as a Black person gets viewed negatively by a lot of people. So I want to normalize myself so these type of stereotypes don't exist about us anymore. But it's not about being a better person. It's just about discussing things.
How does the stereotype affect you?
Which stereotype?
About being a Black person who's an atheist.
Okay, within the Black community, if you are an atheist, you are seen as less moral, you are seen as less desirable, you are seen as a person who has something mentally wrong with them. And I want to show that that's not true.
But atheists are the majority in all of society.
No, we're not.
Well, yes, they are. Statistically, yes. Oh, yes.
80% of the United States is some sort of Christian. What do you mean? 80%. My parents are from Haiti. 80% of Haiti is Roman Catholic. Yes. My fiance is from Jamaica. 80% of Jamaica is Christian. I have friends from Nigeria. 90, around 50-50 of Nigeria is either Christian or Muslim. We are not the majority in any society, bro.
I said the world.
Not even in the world.
The Christian society in the world is not the biggest society.
There are 2.5 billion Christians. It's the largest religion on the planet.
How many Christians?
There are 2.5 billion Christians, 2.1 billion Muslims, about 800 million Hindus, about 500 million Sikhs. Atheists are not the majority of the planet.
And in those areas where that religion, those religions that you spoke to, is the world a better place or worse place?
Depends.
What have we actually seen in history when we've totally removed any kind of faith in a god? What has happened?
Some of the most peaceful societies are not religious. So we've seen that. We've
Would you
actually
say
seen
that
good
is for
things.
modern times? Within the last, let's say, 1,000 years? Is that true?
Yeah,
No, absolutely not.
absolutely
Come on.
so.
All right, so let me go back to the atheist thing because I don't want to get sidetracked.
Mhm.
So you don't believe that there's life after death, correct?
No, no.
Where does the energy go?
What energy?
The energy that's within you, where does it go?
The worms eat it.
Energy can't be created or destroyed. So where does it go?
The worms eat it.
Worms eat the energy?
Do you understand what energy means in science? It's not some ethereal property. It's just the capacity to move. That's it.
Right. It's all energy comes from either light energy, light frequency, or sound frequency, correct?
No.
Yes, it does. All see.
Light doesn't have frequency.
Yes, it does.
Sound has frequency. Light doesn't have frequency.
Both light and sound has frequency.
Light is photons, bro. They don't have frequencies. What are you talking about?
Light has frequency, and so does sound.
Sound has a frequency. Light does not have a frequency. Light is just photons. Light has emission. It can be bright or it can be either bright or not bright, but it doesn't have a frequency. It doesn't
Where
make
do you
sound.
get energy from light then?
And the light causes, like, for example, if you're talking about like from the sun,
Yes.
where the sun's rays are radiation. The plants eat that radiation.
And what
beef and-
and how does that radiation reach us?
It moves
light
through
frequency.
space. Yeah, not frequency. It moves through light.
Yes, that is a frequency.
That's not a frequency. That's an emission.
All right. So where does this energy go? You're saying worms eat the energy. And so so then you are transmitted into the worm. Is that what you're saying?
No, my consciousness is gone. Okay, hold on, Mr.
Where
Joseph. I'll
does
give
the
you one thing.
energy
People are
go?
saying,
The
hold on, Joseph.
energy.
Wait. Give me a second. All right, so people are saying that the frequency of light is color. Got you. I appreciate that correction. The frequency of light is color. It's just color. Okay, great. So basically the frequency of light is color. Color is not energy. It's just what we see. You know what I'm saying? But when you say where does the energy go, we just energy is not an actual substance. It's just a property of a system. That's it.
And so that's all you have to hope for. Is
basically.
this 120 years of life?
Mhm.
Isn't that sad?
No.
It's not.
No.
Why is it not sad for you? You said when
Well-
you see people die, you're sad,
Yeah, when they die, I am sad.
and you're
And when
sad
I'm-
because they have no life, right?
Right, because I'm not gonna see them again. Like I spent all these years with them, and they pass away. I'm not gonna see them again. I'm gonna miss them. I'm
Isn't
gonna miss
that sad
their
that you'll never see them again?
Yeah, that is sad. I'm never gonna see the person again. Which is why we need to be sure that we spend as much as our life and energy into building a good life with people now and loving people now. I'm never gonna see those people
How
again. So
does
of course I'm gonna be sad.
how does what you believe help you to do that, to achieve that?
Achieve what? Being a
To
better person.
achieve being a better person. Why be a better person when you're basically just trying to live the next day? So
All right,
are
Doug.
you selfish in that way that you don't give to others?
No, I do give to others because I want their life.
Why
to
do
be
you
good.
do that?
Because I want their life, their short time on earth, to be good.
In over yours?
Not over minds, and unless I have children.
So
yeah, I
you
want their
always
life
come
to.
first.
That's everybody, bro. Unless they have children. I don't have any children yet. When I do have children, I want their life to be better than mine. So I'm of course gonna put them over me.
Okay. And so the children that you have, it's important that their life is better than yours.
than mine. Yes.
Is
because I
children
want
are
them to.
children important?
Yes, we love our children. We want to propagate the species. So
Is it
therefore,
okay to take the life of a child?
no, according to Yahweh, it is not according to me.
No, according to you.
No, not according to
Yahweh
me.
doesn't exist. You say he doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's called an eternal critique. So according to the Bible, this Yahweh character taking away life is fine.
There's
with him.
no
It's not fine
Bible.
with
It
me.
doesn't exist in your world. Let's get away from the
Do
Bible.
do you understand what internal critique means?
Explain it.
Internal critique is that we can take the characters or the mythologies or anything like that and critique it as if they actually do exist. Like, for example, I can critique Voldemort. Voldemort isn't real. I can critique who else? Thanos. Thanos isn't real. It's an internal critique. We're just talking about what these characters do and how they operate. It's just an internal critique. And there are social consequences to people believing that this character does exist. That's why we
So
talk
what's
about it.
in man's mind does make a difference in your life.
Yeah, of course.
It makes a difference in what's your life. So it's not just random chance then.
Random chance of what? What are you talking about?
If you don't believe there's a God, there has to be random chance. There has to be a reason
Mhm.
or randomly how everything is coming together and holding just in the right spot so that life can exist.
What? What does that mean?
Random chance is what you believe, right? You don't believe that there's a controller of all this.
No,
That this
there's no
is
control.
just happens by what? Random chance.
Yeah, the lottery.
The lottery. So every day when you walk out that door, you're just hoping to survive that day
Yes.
because there's
Like every
nothing
day.
else to live for.
Yeah, like no, there is a. When you say there's nothing else to live for, what do you mean by that? There are other things to live for. I'm not
There's
just
nothing
going out there.
better
Wilding.
than what you have right now today.
No, there is something better than what I have today.
What is
There's
that?
$1 million. There's $1 million. I don't have $1 million, so that's better than what I have today.
So
Yeah, I
if
mean-
you had those $1 million, that would be better for you today.
Yeah, of course it would. I'll be able to pay my bills for years.
Yes.
What are we talking about here, bro?
I'm
I'm
talking
really trying to
about
figure
your
this out.
life. I'm trying to understand what is it like for an atheism with no hope of anything but this life.
Hope for
For
this
instance,
life.
you don't have children right now, right?
No, I don't have children right now, but I hope to have them.
But you do want to have children.
Yes.
And those children that you have, you will put them before yourself.
Of course I will.
So you'll put these children before yourself.
Yeah, like I said.
Yes, because you want those children to have something better, right?
Yes. We've already said
And
this.
you
What do
want
we-
something better, right?
Yeah. Can you get to the point here? I'm not sure what we're talking about at this
The
point.
point that I'm getting to is I don't see any real joy and happiness in your life because you never know what tomorrow is going to bring you.
And that's why I have joy right now.
But see, I know what tomorrow is going to bring me.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
I'm already experiencing my blessings.
And okay, so your blessings, what are they?
My blessings are this. I have people in my life who love me.
So
A
do
wife,
I.
children,
So do I.
grandchildren, great-grandchildren. I
Great.
am financially independent.
Myself
I
too.
have what I need. I retired at the age of 55. The things
hope
that
so,
I
too, as
believe
well.
in has helped me to bless me and help me to become a better me.
Okay, great. Joseph,
if I
Joseph,
go back
Joseph,
20
Joseph,
years
Joseph,
from now,
Joseph,
I'm a
Joseph,
better
pause
me
real
than
quick.
what I am
Joseph,
today.
Joseph. I also have people who love me. I also take care of children. They're not my own children, but they're my nephews and my nieces and my cousins and their babies. I take care of them. I have parents who love me. I have a wife who loves me. I'm very financially secure. I have coworkers. I have friends. I can call one person right now and tell them that I'm in trouble, and 40 people will show up. So according to you, I'm blessed. So I have
So
that,
you-
not believing in God. The way that me but not believing made me a better person, if you want to go ahead and get to that, you know why not
Yes,
believing
that's
made me
what
a
I
better
wanna know.
person? No, why how not believing made me a better person? Because I no longer think that prayer is going to do something for anybody. I go out there and I do it myself. I no longer think that LGBTQ people are these evil, degenerate people, and I let them love who they love, and I don't try to be against them. I no longer, just believe that there's gonna be a big Winnebago from the sky that's gonna wipe out everybody on the planet because they were against Israel. I don't believe in those things anymore, and I'm a better person now because I know that the way that I'm a better person now is because I don't believe that after you pass away there's gonna be anything. I want to make sure that everyone has a good life now. So I make sure I love you now. I make sure I treat you better now because there is no after this. That's how I became a better
Why
person.
do you think you're doing those things?
Why do I think I'm doing those things? Because I want people to live a good life, and I want to live a good life,
Why do you
and I have
want that?
empathy.
Why do you want that?
Because living a bad life is not preferable. I don't want to suffer.
What do you
What are you
want
talking
for
about?
me?
What I want for you,
Yes.
I don't want you to suffer either. You're a human being. I have empathy.
Do you think that some people who have made changes in their lives because of their beliefs, their religious beliefs, do you think it's good to take that away from them?
I don't take that
To
away from
take
them.
that hope away from them?
I don't
Those
take
who
that
have
away from
been
them.
on substance abuse, they have abused their body with drugs and alcohol and have changed their ways because of this way of thinking.
Wonderful.
Do you think a show like this might cause them to go backwards and maybe backslide a little bit from that?
No, because that's not what I encourage.
But if you encourage them to not have their faith, for instance, your faith is fine with me because you are doing fine in your faith, right? Your faith is no faith, and your faith is that you just want to love your fellow man. That's a good thing. Not everybody is in that place in life. Some need a lot more help than that to get into that place. What is the vehicle that they need to use in order to get into that place?
If they need to believe in everlasting sky fairy who sacrificed himself to himself to create a loophole for the rules he created himself, when he could have forgave everybody and not have to worry about all that, then cool, they can believe that.
And you're okay with that?
Of course, I'm okay with people believing whatever they believe. The only reason why I talk about this is because, again, I want to normalize people like myself, and number two, there's social consequences to this.
Do you really believe that you're not normalized?
No. If you go
Do you
to
not believe that society is more geared to you than it is to those who
no.
have religious beliefs?
Hell no.
Like, give me an example of that.
Okay, I will. I live in South Florida, right?
Yes.
1 block away from me is a church. Do you want to know what's 1 block away from that church?
Yes.
Another church. 1 block away from that church is a restaurant and a plaza. Do you want to know what's next to that restaurant and that plaza?
What's that?
Another church. I am not normalized. You are.
So you're thinking that now, so this church, is it something that invades your privacy?
Of course it doesn't. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that society isn't geared towards my comfort. It's geared towards yours. Because you can find, you can go anywhere. You can go anywhere. You can go anywhere in this society. You just said you're a Christian. You can go anywhere in this society and find a community.
I'm not a Christian. I never said the word Christian.
Okay, what are you? I'm sorry, that's my mistake. What are you?
I'm a disciple of Jesus Christ.
You're a Christian. So
No,
you can go anywhere in you're a Christian.
Is a word that's used to put Christians down because they were not believers in the Caesar.
You're a disciple of Christ, correct?
I don't know what a Christian means. A Christian could mean a lot
Listen.
of different things.
Okay. My question is, you're a disciple of Christ?
Yes.
Do you believe that Jesus died on the cross and for your sins?
Yes.
And he's your Lord and personal Savior?
He's my Lord and Savior. Yes.
Yes. That's the definition of a Christian.
But that's not what Christian is being used for out in the world. Just like
Okay,
you say
that
that
doesn't
you're a
matter.
black man.
And this
Just like
and
you
this
say that you're a black man, you're not a black man.
Yeah, I am.
No,
No.
you're not. That's a label that you've put on yourself.
That's a label that existed for 1,000 years, bro.
And before then, what was it?
Before then, it was just our whatever tribes we're part of or the empire we're part of.
Right. So
Like,
how
if-
did
if
that label get put there? That's what I'm saying.
Like-
It's a label. It's a label. You're human. You're a human being.
Yes, I understand. I'm a human being, and I understand that race is a social construct. But like in this society, there are certain labels we have to have just to have these conversations. I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get that race is a social
Yeah.
construct, but black culture and race and everything like that, that's an actual thing in our society, and it's a
Yeah.
label that's fine, but like it's a label that we still hold dear to ourselves, like disciple of Christ. If I say that you are not a disciple of Christ, you would say that you are.
I would say that I am.
Exactly. And I'm a black man.
Okay. I will.
Right.
I'll accept that, but I accept that you're the same as I am. You're a human being.
Yeah, of course we're the same.
First, that's first. Out there, I don't see myself as a Christian. I just see myself as somebody who is living out in this world, and I treat everybody as best as I can, just like I'm hearing that you do. Or
Yeah,
what
exactly.
your objective is to do so. It doesn't mean you do it all the time. I fail as well, but our objective is the same. Just that you do it without any hope other than this life that you're living right now, this 120 years or whatever you're going to spend on this earth in that
Yeah.
fleshly body that you have.
Yeah, because I think that's all we have. We have no proof of anything else.
And you believe that that's all there have. And see, so that is the thing that I am looking towards, and I'm saying that's kind of sad.
Why is it? Why is it
That's
so?
a very limited existence.
No, it's not.
Sure, it is. It's a limited existence that will be forgotten about the time your great grandchildren come around, your great grandchildren come around.
Yeah,
They won't
exactly.
even
I don't
know
know who
your
my
name.
great-grandfather
I
is.
mean, statistically wise, most people don't even know the name.
Yeah, I don't know who my great grandfather is.
Your great grandfather, but go back to your great and your great.
Yeah, I don't
You
know who
don't
they
know.
are.
Yeah.
I have no clue who they are. That's gonna happen
And-
to everybody, even you.
Yes, but that existence for you is limited to this realm that you live in right now today, and you don't believe that there is another one outside of this.
Yeah, and so is yours. Your grandchildren after your great grandchildren right now will have no idea who you are.
But I will see them again one day. That is the hope that I have. You don't have that hope. You'll
No,
never. You said you will never see them again.
I'll
You
never
will
see them
never
again.
experience them in any way again.
Nope. Never see
Because
them
the
again.
worms will eat your energy, and you will become a worm.
Well, I won't become a worm. I'll be dead. I won't exist.
You won't exist at all.
I won't exist at
Non-existent.
all.
A non-existent creature. When we see
Yeah.
everything in life, everything that we see out there in nature becomes something else eventually.
Yeah, I become worm food.
The leaf becomes what when it falls to the ground?
It dies.
It dies and becomes what?
Like it gets eaten by the grass and the worms. Just dies.
So it becomes nutrients for something else to live, right?
Yeah, exactly. Which is what I will become. I'll become nutrients for the worms and the roaches.
Okay, I think I understand you, man. It's like I hope the best for you. I hope you meet a beautiful, loving, caring, genuine woman who can have that child that you could raise. And I really do pray and hope that, and I know you don't care about that, but I will do it anyway. That that you will give your all to make this child's life better than the life that you had. And that's all that's really important, brother. Peace be with you, man.
I appreciate it. You have a good
That's
one.
pretty much all I have. I just curious of what atheists, what kind of life you gonna have, man. I hope that 120 years turns out good for you. But I wish I could see you beyond that life one day.
Sure, not a problem. I
right.
appreciate you, man. Cheers. Have a good one. All right, y'all. We got one more guest because my phone battery is screaming at me right now. All right. I'm gonna make Dreadhead main. I think we spoke before, Dreadhead. I think we spoke before. I'm gonna make you the last guests. All right, can y'all hear me?
Hello?
Y'all let me know if y'all can hear me.
I can hear you, brother. So I just
All
want
right, cool.
to ask you a quick question. So,
For sure.
I'm a theist, so I do believe in God. I want to ask you as to why you are atheist.
I have no reason to believe that is true, and it's not necessary.
So, my argument here is basically that I think that atheism is unintelligible. I don't think that I don't atheism to me makes no sense. We can put this. I can place arguments for this. My argument for this would be that a position.
Well, let me ask you one question first before you do that. What do you
Yes.
think atheism actually is?
So atheism is the lack of belief in a God. So we can say this is you just suspending judgment from the existence of God. That's kind of how I would argue for this.
That's actually correct. But if you know that atheism is simply a lack of belief in a God, what is unintelligible to you? I just don't believe what you're saying.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. So we can place this in arguments, right? I think that the position for atheism is it just makes no sense.
How does it make no sense to not believe something that I have no proof for?
Yeah, because again, atheism itself is it's flawed in many ways. For example, I can put this as an argument. We can say a position that leaves you with two incorrect options cannot be correct. Do you agree with that?
A position that leaves you with two incorrect options cannot be correct. Well, that's a tautology, but yeah,
Yes.
that's I would agree with that.
So yeah, what we'll place here is that atheism is a position that leaves you with two incorrect options. Therefore, atheism cannot be correct.
What two incorrect options does it give? And actually, that's a false dichotomy.
So yeah, the two options that you're placed with is just space and time being eternal, or something coming from pure nothingness. I believe that these are the only two options that atheists can ever have, and I find these positions to be unintelligible. It doesn't make any sense.
But atheism is simply a lack of belief in a God. It says nothing about space and time. It says nothing about not having a beginning. It says nothing about anything else. It's just not believing in a God. After that, atheists can believe in anything that they want.
So yeah. Again, we only have two options for God, right? It's either that God exists or God does not exist.
Yeah, either God exists or God does not exist. That's a true dichotomy.
So if you believe that God does not exist, then these are what's left with you. These are the only options that you can ever have.
If an atheist, because again, atheism is a lack of a belief, right? So if I don't believe in a God, that says nothing about anything else.
Yeah, you saying that you don't believe in a God will leave you with flawed options.
No, what I'm saying is that it still leaves you with multiple options. It's just that the God option of believing in that is something that you don't take a position on because you don't believe in that. But you can believe in literally anything else.
Yeah, but we only have three options for the origin of the universe. Either God created it. Either there's a universal creator, space and time's eternal, or the universe came from nothing.
No, that's not the only positions.
So are you able to present a third option for the atheists? I've never heard of one.
Yeah, sure. This universe could be a simulation. This universe could have arise naturally from another universe. This universe could be inside of a black hole.
Yeah. So yeah.
This universe could have been created by farting pink clouds.
Yeah, and these are
Another
all
option.
things. Hold on, and these are all things that fall up under space and time being eternal. A universe coming
No, they
from
don't.
another, a universe coming from another universe.
Yeah, exactly. You're dumb. Yes.
For a universe, space and time is necessary for a universe. Those are
Yeah,
fundamental
exactly.
laws for a universe. Okay, so
Right. I
if
understand
there's
that.
yeah, so if there's multiple universes,
Mhm.
then all we're doing is basically just having space and time being eternal again. And then for the simulation theory, my one entire argument for the simulation theory would just be what created the simulation?
Probably
If,
in
it's God, if not God, then the simulation is again eternal.
no,
It
the
just,
simulation.
it just leaves space and time.
That's wrong. That's wrong. A simulation does not have to be eternal. It could have been created by an alien species that we have no idea how to interact with yet.
And who created the alien species?
We don't know. That's
Yes.
the thing.
So
Of course, it pushes
yeah.
it back. Of course, it pushes it back a step. But what I'm saying is that you have the same problem with an eternal thing as well. Because what created your creator?
So yeah, the way that we use eternal with God's nature, right? Eternal just means timeless.
Right. No,
So-
it can't. No, it can't mean timeless. Timeless has to always exist.
Yeah. Wait. What? Yeah. I agree with that.
Time-
Yes.
Yeah, time
gotta-
can't be
yeah,
created.
something
Time has
that-
to always exist.
So yeah, I disagree with that. That is what we call space and time being eternal. I find it unintelligible.
No, space and time has to be eternal, even for your God.
No, it does not.
You want me to prove it?
Something that is eternal. Something that is eternal is timeless. Under my framework.
Time cannot be created. Time has to always exist.
Yeah. So yeah, my argument for this, right, is if time has always existed, then what we're stuck in is that no point of time could ever be actualized.
No, time can actually the points of time can actually be actualized. Is that space and time itself can't be created. It has to always exist.
Yeah. And again, my objection towards is that if that is true, then no point of time could ever be actualized, right? Because then we fall up under this infinite dependency chain, right?
Then your God can't be actualized because your God requires time.
No, my God does not require time.
Yes, it does. Does your God create?
Yes.
Creation is a change of states, right?
I can actually agree with this. Yes.
Okay, a change of state needs a before, a during, and an after, doesn't it?
Not when it comes to the existence of God. No.
When it comes to the existence of God, he doesn't need a before or an after.
Yeah, that's just nonsense.
So he can't actualize anything either.
No. So when God created the universe, right? You can think of this as simply like, let's say a man was standing in a chair for eternity, right? Just because this man is standing in the chair for eternity, that does not mean that he does not have the free will to stand up.
All right. So he was sitting in a chair for eternity, right? So that means when he stood up, there was a before. He was sitting in a chair.
No,
Yes.
no, there's no before.
Listen, if he's
So-
sitting
so
in a
Roshi-
chair, hold
Roshi-
on, wait. Let me explain this way. He's sitting in a chair and he stands up. What happened before he stood up? He was sitting. So there is a before. There has to be.
No.
So he can't actualize anything either.
No, Volsi. I see. This is.
If he's sitting in a chair, and then stands up, before he stood up, he was sitting in a chair. There's a before there. There has to be.
So yeah, Volsi. The way that you're trying to demonstrate God, you're acting like God has these what the God did before time was a temporal sequence, right? We can just say that this was.
It has to be.
Hold on, Volsi. No, it does not, right? Because if God is something that is timeless, right, then his free will and actions would also be timeless.
You're literally special
there's no-
pleading
How is that special pleading?
because you're saying that that everything else can needs this except for this one thing that I give.
Because
predictions.
everything else is bounded by space and time.
So is your God.
Oh my gosh. How can my God be bounded by space and time if he's timeless?
Can you prove he's timeless?
Well, yes.
How?
Yeah, based on the simple fact that the universe has a beginning.
No, it doesn't.
So then you're left again with this unintelligible position.
No, it is intelligible. Things
So,
can be
okay,
eternal.
So if every moment
Remember,
of time,
energy can't be created or destroyed, which means energy is
yeah.
eternal.
so if I disagree with that, because if every moment of time, right, if every moment of time was dependent on each other, right, how could we ever come to a now in time if every moment is dependent on each other and we have an infinite series that goes back?
Talk to a physicist. I have no idea.
Yeah, we know the physicists will tell you. They will tell you, oh well, I don't know. Do you know why they will tell you I don't know?
Because no one knows.
No. Do you know why they will tell you that?
Because no one knows.
Because of the simple fact that the universe being eternal, it just makes no sense.
No, it makes total sense because energy can't be created or destroyed.
Oh my gosh, I disagree with this.
Create energy right now.
So just because I can't create energy does not mean that is
Energy can't be created or destroyed. So you
Okay,
disprove
so I
relativity.
got a question.
Hold
So
on,
I
Dre,
got a
did
question.
you?
So
Wait,
so
hold on,
so
one last
because
one.
we can't do it, that just means it's not. That just means it just can't be destroyed.
Did you disprove relativity?
The theory of relativity.
Yeah, have you disproven it?
What do you mean? Have I disproven the theory?
You said that you disagree that energy can't be created or destroyed. Have you disproven the theory of relativity?
Oh well, yes. If that's the case, then yes. If that's what
Okay,
you're fine,
go
then
get
yes.
your Nobel Prize. Go get your Nobel Prize then. Don't talk
What
to
do you
me.
mean?
Because if you disproven the theory of relativity, that means you've disproven Einstein. Go get your Nobel Prize right now. Don't talk to me.
Yeah. Do you know that Einstein was a believer in God because he believed that the
No, he
universe?
wasn't.
Hold on.
No,
Do
he
you
wasn't.
know? Okay, that's
No,
fine.
he wasn't. I
Just
can
that-
find that quote if you want me to.
That's totally fine.
I
Yes.
can get
Hold
the
on,
quote if you
pause,
want me to.
pause,
He did
pause.
not believe in a God.
Rossi, I got a question. Do
Go
you
ahead.
believe that? Do you believe that Albert Einstein? Do you just believe that everything that Albert Einstein says is true?
No, I
Because
know
then what you'll be doing here is what we call an appeal to authority.
I didn't say everything that Albert Einstein said was true. I didn't say that. I asked you if you disprove. I asked if you disprove relativity because relativity is the most grounded science of physics that we have right now. If you disproved it, go get your Nobel Prize. Don't talk to me. You're the one who brought up that Einstein believed in God.
Do you know how many people?
Oh, wait. I didn't say that because Einstein didn't believe in God, that makes God not real. You said that he did. I'm just saying that he didn't.
Yeah, that's totally fine. So, do you know how many people have disagreed with Albert Einstein's theory of relativity?
And none of them have debunked it yet. None of them.
Yes, they have. It's
Who
simple.
debunked?
Yeah,
Who
yeah,
debunked relativity?
Yeah, I'll just name basic philosophers. You could say Thomas.
No.
No, hold on.
Physicists. Name a physicist who debunked.
No.
Name a physicist. Philosophy can't debunk science. What are you talking about?
Yes, it can.
Oh, so you can philosophically debunk gravity?
Yes, you
Philosophically debunk gravity. Go ahead.
I believe in gravity, so why would I do that?
You just said philosophy can debunk science.
Yes, it can.
How?
Because philosophy uses what we call logic and reasoning, right? Some things in science are just illogical.
What? Like what?
Yeah. For example, the universe being eternal. That's illogical.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Because
It's completely illogical.
No,
It's,
okay.
No. There's a difference between something being illogical and not intuitive. The reason why it's not intuitive to us is because we're linear. We start somewhere and we end somewhere. We're linear. We understand. That's how we understand time working, starting and stopping. Like I have a stopwatch right now. It started and it's going to stop pretty soon in about 10 minutes. You see what I'm saying? So that's how we understand time. Just because that's how we understand it doesn't mean that it doesn't work in another actual way. And the mathematics shows that it does work in that actual way. The second thing I want to say is, how does philosophy debunk science? That makes no sense at all.
Yeah, because again, science is something that we call logic and reasoning. Do you believe that? Do you believe that things that are illogical is true? If science says it, no. We have no reason to believe. We have no reason to believe that things such as like a married bachelor is true.
Right, and scientifically,
or that a proposition such as like, let's say a proposition like for example contradictions. For example, like let's say something is omnipotent and not omnipotent. If science shows this, then we will just have no reason to believe science.
And
because
do you
science
know
would be unreasonable?
Right, and do you know what science shows? It shows the exact opposite of what you said. It doesn't say something. It doesn't show something's potent or omnipotent. It actually disproves that.
Yeah. So again, so science uses some type of logic and reasoning. So we can use logic and reasoning to debunk some certain things in science. Do you know that there's philosophers that debunk evolution?
No, they haven't.
Yes, there are philosophers that debunk evolution.
They haven't debunked evolution because one thing in science, you don't just come up with fancy little arguments. You actually have to show what you're saying actually has evidence behind it. You actually have to show the evidence of what you're saying. You don't just say, "Oh, this is my argument for why this is true." Okay, fine. Demonstrate why we find these things. Oh, but that's my argument. You can't do that.
Yeah,
you actually have to show. Wait. You actually have to show something is like, for example, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a philosopher that can debunk that I don't have 5 fingers. I'm pretty sure someone could come up with a philosophical argument that I don't have 5 fingers. He's going to have to actually show that I don't have 5 fingers. He can't show that. That's not how science works.
So
you need empirical evidence.
No, I disagree with that. I don't think that everything needs empirical evidence.
Okay, what doesn't need empirical evidence?
Yeah, the belief in a God, the universe being eternal. These are things that doesn't need empirical evidence.
All right. The belief in a belief. Yeah, beliefs don't need empirical evidence, but the claim that a God exists does need empirical evidence.
So no, it does not.
Okay, so a belief. That's what I'm saying. A belief, like for example, I believe that Kendrick Lamar is the best rapper right now. Right? They're not like us. I believe Kendrick Lamar is the best rapper right now. That doesn't need empirical evidence. Just because a whole bunch of people listen to him doesn't mean he's the best rapper. That doesn't need empirical evidence. However, if I were to say that Kendrick Lamar does not exist, or Kendrick Lamar does exist, or Kendrick Lamar was born in Compton, those do need empirical evidence.
Yeah,
Actually, if I were to say that Kendrick Lamar was born in New York and not Compton, I would be wrong about that because his birth certificate says Compton. So that's how science works.
So yeah,
I could come up with a philosophical argument of Kendrick Lamar being born in France.
No,
I
you
would
cannot.
still be wrong.
No, you cannot. No,
Why?
you cannot.
Because there's no evidence, right?
It's because those things are governed by empirical evidence, but not everything needs empirical evidence. So just because
not everything needs empirical evidence. You're right.
So I make the claim that God exists does not mean that I should give you empirical evidence because that's what you
should.
Want.
You're making a claim.
No, you don't need.
You're making
evidence.
a truth claim.
You don't need empirical evidence to show that to be true.
But you're making a truth claim.
You could just put this within a logical framework, right? And do you believe that logic is true?
Do I believe that logic is true? What do you mean by that?
So do you think that logic leads to like truths?
It can't. Nah, not always.
Yeah, it doesn't always lead to truth, but it can, right?
It can, but not always.
So yeah. So if logic can lead to truths, right, then we can just use logic to show that God is something that is true.
No, you can't.
What? You just said that logic leads to truth.
Logic can lead to truth. It can also lead to something that's false.
Yeah, and things that lead, and when logic leads to things that are false, right? Is it being false? Is the statement that is false not a true statement?
That's one of those logic riddles that you can't really get out of. Like if I were to say this statement is false, is that a true statement?
Yes, that would be a true statement.
But the statement is false.
So
how is it a true statement? That's one of those logical contradiction things.
It's because, right? When something is considered to be false, right? You will have to accept that it's false. That means you will have to accept that it's false. That's just how it will go. You can't say something is false and not accept that it's false. That makes no sense. You have to accept the statement that is you have to accept the statement that that's true.
Okay.
So yeah, so if logic leads to things that are false, right, then we can say that it is true that this is false. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay, I can understand that, but what I'm trying to say is that when you can make logical arguments, right? But just because you make a logical argument for something doesn't mean that thing is true. Because I've seen people make logical arguments for the tooth fairy. The tooth fairy doesn't exist.
Yeah, and yeah, you can prove these things using just you can prove these things using philosophical reasoning. You can, for example, I would say that the reason why the tooth fairy isn't something that is true is because it's not something that is necessary. Like this is completely different.
And neither is God.
See, this is something completely different when we're speaking of God.
Right, but God isn't necessary either.
I would disagree with that. Okay,
so prove that God is necessary.
So yeah, this is gonna be completely complex, but I can prove it, right? So we have I can still do with the argument that I have, right? Like you said already, right? We have two options for the existence of God. It's either that God exists or he does not exist, right? Mm-hmm. So if God does not exist, then if it is true that God, if it is false that God does not exist, right? Then God being true would be something that is necessary just by that very definition.
That made no sense at all. That was can you say that again?
We have something called the law of excludability.
Hold on, Hold on, everybody.
Earlier, you were trying to
wait. Hold on. Kohito. Everybody wait. Okay, Dread, what you said earlier was complete word salad. Please say that again.
So yeah, we have something in logic that we have the three laws of logic, right? We have, law of non-contradiction, the law of identity, and the law of excluded-middle. So the law of excluded-middle helps us understand that basically a proposition is either true or false, right? So if the negation of the proposition is something that is untrue, then the other position itself will be something that would just be true based on the simple fact that the negation is false. It must be necessarily true.
All right, two things. Okay. Number one, what does that have to do with anything about the prompts listed? Okay. And number two, can you please tell me one philosopher that's debunked general relativity, please? Because when I'm watching this, you're going in circles, my guy. Respect.
Yeah. So
okay?
We can say an easy philosopher is just William Lane Craig, right? William Lane Craig.
William Lane
disagrees
Craig
with-
did not do
William Lane Craig completely disagrees that space and time is something that is eternal. That is like his whole entire philosophy.
Space and time are human-made conceptions. Okay. Time.
So wait, that makes no sense.
Time
That makes
and
no
space,
sense,
my
right?
guy, are tools. Okay, that we invented to understand the concepts of the universe. They didn't come magically
So-
from skydiving. We use
so-
these semantics to understand how the universe
Coquito,
works. Is that simple?
Coquito, what you said makes no sense, right? Because if space is not real,
No, space.
how- if
Space
space
is
is-
real. We've
Oh,
called
okay,
it
so
space. God didn't
so-
say that space is space. We've called it space. It's a
Yeah,
human,
just-
like
okay,
I just said
just
earlier,
because
it's a
we-
human concept.
just because we call it something does not make it a human concept, because human concepts do not.
Yes. What do you think lexicon? What do you think
you have to
linguistics
let me speak.
stems
You have
from?
to
Do
let
you
me
think it
speak. You have
stems
to
from
let me speak.
skydiving, or do you
You
think
have
it
to let
stems
me
from
speak.
humans?
You have to let me
Uh,
speak.
All right, everybody. I still want to really understand this argument, because like the only thing that you said is that the law of excluded middle mean that something is either true or false. We get a proposition has to be either true or false. That's a true dichotomy. I understand that. How does that make God necessary?
Yeah, because if we show that the negation is something false, then it follows that God is just the most that God is just the most reasonable option.
And how do
That
we
doesn't
prove
follow at all. That doesn't follow at all.
Yeah, it's because yes.
Wait, stop. Let's go back a step. I'm not even gonna give that to you. That doesn't follow at all. That
How
does
do we
not
prove
follow.
that?
So yeah,
It's not even how do we prove that. It doesn't even follow. That's
Yeah,
a
it's
non
be-
sequitur.
it's because-
Right,
it's
you
because-
guys can't follow it. You can't prove
You're
it.
just right. You're just you can't prove it. But even from the beginning, it doesn't follow. It's a non sequitur. You're saying
No.
that if we say that God doesn't exist, he has to be necessary.
No. I'm saying that if we agree that the negation is something incorrect, then the most reasonable case for us to believe is that God
It is
would
correct. Okay.
exist.
So if we say that if God does not exist is an incorrect statement, then God does exist.
Yes,
Right.
just necessarily.
Okay,
That's
cool.
just how that will go.
Cool. I got you there. But the thing is, though, you still have to demonstrate that God does actually exist. You haven't done that.
That's what I
Well,
said earlier in
you
the
don't
comments. I'm
have
saying
to. You
that
don't have to.
too.
You don't have to if the negation is something false.
But
That's
you can't.
just not
But
how
we
we
can't.
operate, though.
But the thing is, we can't say that negation is false. We can't say that negation is false
Yes,
because
we
you
can.
have. No, we can't, because you have to demonstrate that God exists.
No, I can just simply show you how the negation is just false. There's nothing else to it.
Okay, so the statement God does not exist is a false statement. What you're saying.
Yes, it's an
How
incorrect
do you
statement.
how do you show that?
Yeah, because I'm going to bring up the argument again. A position that leaves you with two incorrect options cannot be correct. Atheism is a position that leaves you with two incorrect options. Therefore, atheism cannot be correct.
Such
But
as
you but you can't show that. But you can't show that space and time being eternal is an incorrect option.
Yes, I can.
The math actually shows that it is.
Yeah, and I will disagree. I would find this math illogical.
Wait, so
Okay,
you
so we disprove
wait.
Einstein.
All right, so you have a math you have math to show that space and time had a beginning.
I don't have to use math. I can just use.
Yes, you
simple
do.
reasoning.
Yes, you
No,
do.
I
Yes, you
don't.
do.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Because these are mathematical concepts. How can you not use math to disprove a mathematical concept?
Yeah, it's because we can just use deductive reasoning.
Okay, so according to my deductive reasoning, 2 + 2 = 5. Are you serious right now, bro?
That's not how that works.
Exactly. You have to use math to actually.
Yeah.
You have to use
Evidence,
math in order to counter
So, yeah,
math. You just
math,
can't
right?
say according to deductive reasoning 2 + 2 = 5. That's bullshit.
Yeah, Bossy, I'm going to explain to you, right? So math, right? Math is just math is another way of how we use logic.
okay.
So what I'm doing here is I'm using logic, which is it's not the exact same thing as mathematical equations, but it's where mathematical equations get their validity from. So I'm using what mathematics get their validity from to show that this is something that is just incorrect.
Okay, so you have the math to show that space and time cannot be eternal.
I will use logic, yes.
What logic would you use?
Yeah, the simple fact that the law of non-contradiction.
It's not a contradiction that space and time is eternal, bro.
You have to let me finish. Yes, it is.
All right, go ahead.
Right, because again, if you believe that every moment of time is being actualized, under an eternal universe, no moment of time could ever be actualized. That's a complete contradiction right there. And I can prove this. Because if every moment of time is dependent on each other, then we can never come to a present moment of time.
Sure, we can.
So how?
Can we get from 0 to 1?
Yes.
Exactly. You can divide. You can decrease 1 infinitely, can't you?
Decrease. What do you mean decrease 1 infinitely?
You can subtract.
One. You can subtract 1 infinitely. Between 0 and 1, there's an infinite amount of numbers.
Oh well,
correct?
yeah, in mathematics, of course, but not
Yeah,
in,
exactly.
not in, not in, hold on, not
Exactly.
in
But you have.
concrete reality.
Oh, wait. But you have 0 and 1.
But that's not concrete reality.
What does that
It's
even
not
mean?
concrete.
That's
What does that even
mathematical
mean?
concepts. Concrete reality is our very reality.
Which is space and
That's
time,
one
which are
answer.
physical and which are physicist and mathematical concepts. Space and time are the same thing.
Yes, but math, right? Math is something that has no causal link. So of course it can be something that go infinitely in the
Causal
past.
link?
It has
So
it
if I
has
have
no causal
What
link.
do you mean by causal root? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, it has basically it doesn't cause anything to exist. Like for example, it doesn't for example, 2 plus 2 doesn't cause like let's say a cup of coffee to become cold or something like that. It doesn't do anything.
No one says it does.
Well, one's
Yeah,
in terms of
exactly.
quantity, one's in terms
That is
of
why we
temperature.
can't.
Those are two
that
separate,
is why
different subjects. What are you talking about?
that is why we can't use mathematical concepts to show how a infinite in the concrete reality is true. We
What does
can't
that
use
even mean, my guy? What does that even mean? Here's
So
literally
what-
going on rambles about
what-
Hold on,
infinite
hold on,
concepts.
Dread. Well, everybody pause. Dread, you do understand that for us to actually understand the physical properties of our universe, we have to use math, correct?
Well, wait, say that again.
For us to understand the physical properties of our universe, we have to use physics, and physics uses math. You understand that,
Temperature
right?
uses math.
Okay, I guess that's fine.
Okay, so if the math shows that time and space can go back infinitely,
It does not.
how do you? Okay, what math shows that it doesn't?
Yeah. So again, we can just use a lot of
Logic.
Yes.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You're going back to something that
It's because
you're going
right,
back to
logic-
wait. You're going back to you're going back to an argument that you cannot. This is like saying, in order to disprove chemistry, I'm gonna use electronics. Can't really do that.
No,
Well, the other
so
question-
again, that's disanalogous, right?
Well, the other
Because
question.
again, hold on, let me reply to this, right? That's disanalogous, right? Because as we've already said, right, mathematics uses a type of logic. That is how we come to these mathematical equations. It's the same thing with logic.
Right. Okay. So what I'm saying is what you have to use math in order to counter the math. If you're just gonna say that I have a deductive, wait, if you're just gonna say I have a deductive argument that disproves 2 plus 2 equals 4, what is the argument?
There is no argument for that. Because it
Okay,
logically
exactly.
follows.
So what I'm saying is that it logically follows. Exactly. So I'm saying with the mathematics, they show that it logically follows that we can
No,
have
it
an
does
infinite
not.
regress.
No,
Yes, it does.
No, it does
Okay.
not. Because
we
I
out
can
of- we out
disprove
of
this by
time,
using
bro.
the law of
Eric,
non-contradiction.
you won't even.
But you're not using
won't even
math.
get that far.
Yeah,
Okay,
so-
I'm
so- right.
we
It seems like you
out of
understand
time, bro. Dread, we out of time, bro. We out
We're
of
out
time.
of time, Dread.
Yeah, we had about 25 minutes, but I do appreciate you being here, man.
Thanks for
All right.
setting that up. It was just,
No
it was just like I said, he didn't even address earlier that he was talking about science and philosophy, and he said this, and I quote, "Science doesn't use logic and reasoning, but philosophy does, and therefore he can disprove it." But then, literally a few seconds after you, and you pushed him on it, he was like, "Actually, science does use logic and reasoning, but like in a few seconds before that, he said it doesn't. So which one is it? Which one is it?"
Ugh,
Right?
He-
It's just like, okay. It's just
these are usually his.
right. It is. I'll let you handle that. Thank you, though. I'm gonna follow you.
Not a problem. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Moon,
Yeah.
how's it going?
What it do is velocity,
Volsy.
what it do, man. So I point to the evidence for the creator of reality being in you. It's in you. It's not in a book. It's not in any book. It's the inward experience. Like you said, there's no path. There is a path. It's exploring the internal world through a variety of techniques. And I point to Tantra, yoga, and shamanism for exploring the internal world. As so I look at the creator of reality being like the being that drew the Mandelbrot. You know what the Mandelbrot set is? The fractal Mandelbrot set. It's an analogy I use for God. You ever seen
I'm
that?
lost, bro. I'm very lost.
What a fractal is?
My what?
Fractal. You know what a fractal is?
Fractal math. Yeah, I know this.
Yeah. So you know the Mandelbrot set, the fractal Mandelbrot.
I know what fractals are. I'm not a mathematician, so I'm not gonna know what you're talking about.
Well, I don't know if you've ever looked at a particular one. It's the most popular one, the Mandelbrot set. So
Okay, explain that. I don't know what that is.
it's basically a mathematical equation that you keep feeding back into itself to create a pattern infinitely. So it has a start and no end,
Okay, that.
and
Okay.
it's a repeating pattern. So we're like a fractal of a fractal. So we're a part of something that has a start and no end. And so exploring the inside of yourself, you learn more about the outside world. So the evidence you're looking for is in you. And they say that there's a treasure map, and until you actually go to where the X is and dig there, you never find the gold. And I can't give you the gold. It's logically impossible to convey or conceptualize a creator of reality. You have to use epistemology. You have to actually go and desire to know it. So if you don't want it, you're never going to find it. And you can collect all the treasure maps you want, but until you actually go there and start looking for it and keep looking for it until you find it, you're never going to find it. And so the answer, like, it would be such a cruel trick if the answer was in some book and it was gated behind, oh, you have to find this book on this. And the answer would be in all of us individually.
Saying that the proof of a God existing is the fact that I exist.
No, it's the proof is in you. It's not that you exist, that you can find it in you.
I can find it in me. Okay. So you're saying that if I go to therapy
No,
and everything like that and like look internal to myself,
Nope.
then I'll find God?
Nope.
Okay, so what are you saying? What is in me? I have my lungs in me. So what's I don't
Okay,
understand.
well, understanding the physical body is very important. You take care of the physical body and making sure that, like, you know, your pineal gland is not calcified, making sure your organs are taken care of, and you're not poisoning yourself every day, and staying hydrated and nutrition. So taking care of the physical body is the first step. You know, if you're not taking care of your physical body, you're never going to get there. But the techniques I point at to explore the internal world are tantra, yoga, and shamanism. And the guides that for those three things, I would say Osho's Book of Secrets, Yogi Bhajan's Aquarian Teacher, Kundalini Yoga Manual, and all of Terence McKenna's collected works. And
Okay.
and
So my grandmother was a Vodou practitioner,
Okay.
and a lot of my ancestors were Vodou practitioners. So basically, I should go ahead and join and be an Ifa practitioner, and then I'll find God.
I don't recommend you put yourself in any box. Like, if you become an EFA practitioner, now you're in a box, and there's things that EFA, whatever that is, accepts and don't accept. I'm telling you to accept everything. Learn from your enemies, learn from your friends, learn from people that are trying to hurt you, learn from people that are trying to help you. It's your discernment and the character of your own will that determines the meaning. So what a measure
Okay.
what it takes to talk to you. And if you're
Okay, I got you. I gotta be honest here, man. All of this just sounds like spiritualism, and none of that actually shows that a God would exist or not. You're just being a spiritual person, which is fine. I have no problem with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think people should meditate, do yoga because it's good for you, especially fitness yoga. You know what I'm saying? I have no problem, people doing shamanism and getting high on shrooms if that's gonna make them more connected with nature and all that other good stuff. But how does this actually lead us to a God? This doesn't really lead. I don't think this really leads us to a God. Hey, y'all, we got 17K likes, 40 people in here. Go ahead and keep tapping that screen. Ion, I'm gonna let you up next, Ion, because like you was talking about getting up on the panel. I'll let you and RC up next. But yeah, Moon, this really just sounds like being spiritual, which I'm fine with, but I don't think that actually leads us to a God. You can be spiritual and not believe in a God.
It's not about what you think. Like I said, it's not about logic. It's about epistemology. Like, it's illogical. Like, God is an illogical thing. It's beyond logic. So you'll never ever find anything to logically prove God. It's not logical.
Okay, yeah. Like logically, yeah, you probably can't
Yeah.
prove a God. So
That's-
you have to go ahead and do all these spiritual practices, and then there's gonna be a God.
No, there already is. Then it's gonna improve the quality of your life, basically. So you're gonna make progress. It's the path that never ends. We're looking for an infinite path, where there is no end and where there is no scarcity.
Like constant improvement. Like the thing is, like, that's fine. Like, you're looking internally and constant improvement, all that is good, good and well. But I don't think you necessarily need a God for that.
It's not that you need a God. It's that when you seek it, it's revealed to you. And if you're looking for revelation, I point to that path. The path is inward. It's not in a book. It's in our body. It's not gated behind a box. It's not like you have to stay in this box to be a part of God. The box needs to be squished flat and turned into a long line, the line that you travel, the path that you walk, from the discovery.
That kind of sounds like you have to believe it before you get the proof of it. You have to believe that it's actually going to be true first.
Yeah, you gotta want to find the treasure if you're going to search for it, right? If you don't want to find it, any little bump in the road is going to stop you from finding it, right? Any little thing. If you're looking for gold and you go there and you dig and there's no gold and you give up, you didn't really want it that much. You got to keep looking. You got to find a new map. You got to find a new journey. If you perseverance and determination, you got to want. Yes, you have to want to find something of value. So if you're content with your life, then you're probably not going to have the fuel to make the journey. So I mean, if you're content with your life, that's great. I'm more power to you. That's definitely more to you. And whatever makes you happy is what you should do. But if you're looking for more, there is a path.
All right, but looking for more what? Because I'm not to be rude. This sounds like a big trust me, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, when you say people looking for more, like when people look for more meaning into their life, looking for deeper meaning into themselves, into their lives.
Everything. If you're blue pilled, you're never going to make the journey. If you're content with your life and how it is, and if you accept the limitations of everything around you, then if you're not content with it, then that's the start.
Okay, so yeah, if a person is not content with their life and they're searching for better meaning, I do encourage them to go ahead and search for meaning, because not having that can give you, forms of like anxiety. It can give you depression. I get that, and I understand that. In my view, though, that doesn't necessarily that won't necessarily lead you to a God, because I was at that point in my life before. It didn't lead me to God either. It led me out of God, actually. You see what I mean?
Well, if you really want to get into like cymatics and like go over like definitions of things, so God is a terrible representation of the creator of reality. I mean, it's like a prison, and especially with what most of the other religions, where it's like you manipulate people with fear. Like any religion that's going to manipulate people with fear, or any person that's going to manipulate you with fear, is not something that you're going to want to be a part of. I mean, if you're going to be able to be manipulated by fear or safety, then what you're doing is you're putting yourself in a prison or a crib. And a lot of people put themselves in prisons or cribs because of their morality. I believe morality is a social construct. Right and wrong are social constructs. And the lack of discernment that has bred in our society has led to all of this chaos and stupidity in the people that are being born now. And just all the caution hot on coffee and the guardrails on society. I mean, you just made it so people are just going to continue to have worse and worse discernment as time goes on.
I got you. I don't think we're gonna get anywhere, man.
I don't want to make you upset. I can get going, but I understand there's nothing there. Like I literally have nothing.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, we can't really get anywhere, but I do appreciate you being here, man.
Yeah, see you, man.
Ion, I'm gonna bring you up next. Just give me 1 second, all right? Let me connect my mic again.
to be better. All right, Ion, I'm gonna bring you up, and then RC, you're gonna be next, and I think you're probably gonna be the last guest.
Hey, how's it going, man? Thank you so much for letting me up.
Not a problem, Ion. We got 25 minutes. Go ahead and talk to me.
Yeah, man. So, how would you validate the a priori preconditions to the possibility of knowledge?
That was complete word salad.
Uh, would you understand there are a priori preconditions to the possibility of knowledge or not?
What does that mean?
Yeah, so I'll just give some categories. To my paradigm, I believe there are certain categories to the possibility of knowledge that we have to determine, like self words have meaning, the past, logic, universals, etc. These transcendental categories. Logic, for example. How would you validate for the account for logic in your paradigm if there is no God?
How would I account for logic in my paradigm? I'm not even sure what you're asking there, bro. Because that really sounds like word salad. Are you talking about the laws of logic or just being a logical person?
Yeah, the laws of logic.
The laws of logic are just descriptions of what we see in the universe. Like they would exist without us.
Yeah, but that's not really what I'm asking for. The reason why I'm asking for is because you're an imperialist, correct?
Imperialist?
You're
What do you mean?
empiricist, right? You believe everything is you need evidence to validate everything in your worldview, correct?
Most things, yeah.
Okay. Would you say there's anything that you accept in your worldview by faith, pure faith, blind evidence, blind faith? I mean,
I would say that I have a high degree of confidence, but 100% sure, no. Like my car starting, I have a high degree of confidence in my car start. It's gonna start because I just drove it today, but it could break down on me. So
yeah, that's an assumption, but I'm just asking: is there anything in your paradigm that you accept based on blind faith without empirical justification? Because your car starting,
has
it's kind of
empirical
like the
justification.
uniformity of natural law, kind of, anything in the
Yeah,
past.
as empirical justification. Yeah, I got you. I don't think there's much things except for like esoteric things. Like I said before, my favorite rapper is Kendrick Lamar. I think he's the best. That has no empirical evidence towards it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's no empirical evidence towards it. I just believe it. And blue is my favorite color. That has no empirical. Blue being my favorite. Blue being the best color has no empirical evidence towards it. It's just my favorite.
Yeah, but that's not. I'm kind of looking for a paradigmatic type of assertion, not normative thought. So yeah, you could be wrong about like your car not starting or your favorite color, but we can't be wrong like on the law of non-contradiction. You understand what I'm saying? I'm looking for
Yeah, I
a
understand what you're saying.
paradigmatic response.
Like something that I don't know what paradigmatic means. Like something that I just take completely on faith. I don't know if it's true or not. I just believe it outright.
Yes, sir.
Probably I'm not a bearing of that.
Okay, sounds good. So I will show you that basically with this philosophical exercise that you do, brother. So basically, you believe in your epistemology that everything should have empirical verification, and there's nothing that doesn't have empirical verification, correct?
I would say that's true for most things. Did I freeze
I'm
up?
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
Yeah, you froze up. Yeah, you said okay because I need a yes or no. I'm sorry. I'm looking for a closed question, not for most. I need a yes or no because if there's a
Ask the
possibility,
question
then that
again.
means that just because if there's a possibility, that means that you fall into the category of the people who believe in God. It's based on blind faith. So I'm looking for if there's anything in your paradigm that doesn't have
Mhm.
empirical verification. Is there anything in your worldview that has no empirical verification?
The only thing that I can think of right now is that I'm not a brand of that. That's the only thing that doesn't have empirical verification because no one can solve external world skepticism. That's
Yeah,
probably
and
the
it's
only
like,
thing.
I'm not necessarily looking for the external world. I'm looking for the world that we use to say if it does or does not correspond with the external world. You see what I'm saying? So I'm looking for these universal transcendental categories in whatever the external world is. That's irrelevant. I'm not asking for how do you know that you know anything. I'm asking for how do you know that you know what is true or not. You see what I'm saying? So I'm asking for how do you give account for what are these preconditions to the possibility of whatever you know. That's what I'm asking for right now. What are these preconditions to the possibility that you can validate to the possibility of knowledge in your epistemology. So whenever I'm asking for the laws of logic, that's a necessary precondition for knowledge, correct? Wouldn't you agree?
That entire question was word salad, bro.
No, it's because you said you're not a brain in a vat. I'm not arguing for the external world. I'm arguing for your paradigm, just a justification for your epistemic epistemology. I'm not talking about the external world. I'm arguing
Okay,
for your
so
epistemology.
how do I know what the things that I believe are true? How do I know they are true? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Okay. For that, yeah, I would say that we need I would need some sort of evidentiary basis. There's
Sounds good.
almost nothing. I don't think there's anything that I take without some sort of empirical evidence for, again, just my senses. That's the only thing I don't take. I don't think anyone can have, brain of that thing. That's the only thing I think none of us can have empirical evidence for, that we're not brains in the vat. You know what I'm saying? But for just about, I think I can't think of anything other than that. For basically, yeah, everything, I would need some sort of empirical evidence.
Okay, perfect. And with this exercise, I'll show you that it will be impossible for us to know reality, because it's inevitable for these presuppositions. So let me ask you a few questions.
Well, the thing is,
So
I already
how do
gave
you-
one presuppositions, which is our sense data. We have to use that.
Yeah, in our sense data. And so you agree that the mechanism for the sensory data cannot be empirically justified, correct?
Yeah, that's the only thing.
Okay,
As I was already
perfect.
saying.
Okay, perfect. So these go along with these few questions. And then instead of using like a classical foundation to tie this into the transcendent being, I'll be using a coherency theory of truth, because there's two theories of truth for classical foundationalism and evidential apologetics. Like, you know how people try to come up here and use the ontological argument, Thomas Aquinas, and those are irrelevant. Right now, we're going even deeper to the presuppositionalist and what is more coherent in truth, because
Okay,
we can argue for everything
before,
that, hold on,
before you
I'm
get in,
almost done.
before you, I got you, but before we get into that, where exactly are we going with this?
We're going into the mental exercise of me showing that the impossibility of the contrary justifies, and starting with the presupposition that God exists, using a justified argument that I'm going to show with this exercise to prove he exists. Because
that was word salad.
no,
Actually
I can
say what you're trying to say, bro. Where are we going with this? What are you trying to do?
okay. With this exercise, I'll be showing with
I
the
don't want to hear what this
impossibility.
exercise, what we're doing. What are you trying to do here? What's the point?
Okay, I'll be showing the impossibility of the contrary, that God exists.
You'll be showing that it's not possible that God does not exist.
No, I'll be showing by this argument the impossibility, the contrary, that God exists.
Okay, so you're trying to prove that God exists and it's impossible that he doesn't.
Yes, sir.
Okay, just say that, man. Like this entire preamble thing that you were doing, like I'm sorry, I don't do all that. You feel what I'm saying? Like I know of a little bit of philosophy, but we don't have to do all that. Just say what you got to say. All right, so God exists. It's impossible that he doesn't. How do you actually show that?
Yeah, so again, that was a straw man. I told you in this argument, I was making the claim that with the impossibility of the contrary for the justification for paradigms with this argument, that there's no further justification for these transcendental laws. No, hold on, please, man, relax, relax.
No, I'm relaxed. I'm
chilling. I did not interrupt you, brother.
I got you.
Can you relax, please?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. I'm relaxed. But I just got to go ahead and
Don't appeal to emotion.
I'm not gonna appeal to emotion, bro. I'm just trying to let you know. Like I keep telling you, like all these words you're using, it sounds like word salad.
No, that's
just
personal
say
incredulity fallacy. Stop saying it's word salad. Can you be
right.
rational? Stop being emotional.
I can be rational. I'm not emotional. What I'm saying is that you don't have to speak like that. Just tell me what you want to say.
Okay, and you're asking.
You don't have to say the argument of the transcendental. I don't give a shit about that. Just tell me what you want to say, bro.
Okay, listen. What I'm trying to say is, by you showing there's no justification in your worldview for something that's a paradigm, that's incoherent and arbitrary, because my worldview is more coherent. And with this exercise, I can show that I have a better justification for my presupposition of the impossibility of the contrary. That's what I'm showing. My worldview is more coherent because there's two theories of truth.
Just say that. Just say that. I just say that. Your theory.
Do you understand?
I don't care about those things. You saying that your worldview is more coherent. Why?
Because I have a justification for these transcendental categories in my worldview.
What is it?
Okay, So whenever I ask you, what is your justification for how do we know logic
No,
is
no. What are
logical,
yours?
your
What are
answer?
yours? Don't ask me a question. What are yours?
Okay, so you concede you have no justification, correct? That's it. That's the whole argument.
Justification for what?
Okay, that's the whole argument. If you concede
Justification for
for
what?
the laws of logic, how do you account for the laws of logic? These transcendental
What does that mean?
categories.
What does that mean? What does that
The
mean?
self. Okay, what is the law of non-contradiction? Because give me the empirical justification. Because you're asking what does it mean? You're asking for the empirical observation. And I'm showing you, you start with the presupposition.
When you say that
don't
I
think you
can't
understand
account for
this
the laws,
exercise.
when you say
can't
that I
ask
can't
what it
account,
is anything
when I
'cause you
say, when
can't.
I say,
You
when I
don't know-
ask you,
you
when I
can't
ask
prove
you, when I
anything in
ask you,
your
when I
worldview.
ask you, when I ask you, when I ask you, what do you mean when you say you can't account for the laws of logic? I'm asking for you to actually explain that question because I don't understand it. What do you
Okay.
mean when you say that?
Give me a reason why anything in your worldview is true. How do you know anything in your worldview as an atheist? If there is no God,
Mhm.
how do you know anything? Yellow,
Okay.
tell me.
We have to use an evidentiary basis. We go through the
What's the mechanism?
scientific theory.
What's the
The-
scientific theory? What's the
Usually the
mechanism?
mechanism is a scientific theory. You have an observation, you have a hypothesis,
Okay.
you do
What's the
experiments, you
mechanism for
gather
observation?
data. The mechanism for our observation is our sense data.
Okay, your sense
Our
data.
senses.
What's the mechanism for giving me the empirical verification that this sensory data is in accordance with reality?
If it's consistent, we have to show that it's
Okay,
consistent.
and
The
again,
scientific
that's circular because something is agreeing with the past and the future, you can't show me something in the future that agrees with the future. So give me an observation of the empirical observation of it being proven other ways or without that it's in accordance with reality. Prove to me your sensory data is in accordance with reality with evidence, please.
Yeah, if
Demonstrate
I
it.
jump off, if I jump off of a house, my leg's gonna break.
And again, that just shows that based off your assumption of the presupposition. So our
And
sensory
that's
data
gonna
is
happen
based
all
off
the
of an
time.
assumption.
And as
Is
I've
that
already
true or
said,
not?
as I've already said, that presupposition is something that we all have to use. We all have that
Okay.
because we
Okay.
can't
And
use
an
anything
assumption.
else.
Okay. And an assumption, a presupposition is based off blind faith beyond empirical verification, correct?
I've already said that from the beginning that that's the only presupposition that I
Okay.
can
No, I need a
give.
yes or no.
Our
I need a
sensory
yes or no.
data.
Yes
I
or
already
no.
said yes.
Thank you. So therefore,
Our
you believe in
presupposition is the
something.
only
You
thing
have
that we can
faith in
actually
something
use.
you cannot prove.
Our
You're as
presuppositions.
good
I
as
said yes.
something.
I
No,
already
listen.
said that.
Okay.
I
Can you
already
let me
said
finish
that.
my point? Can you let
No,
me finish
because
my point?
no, I already said that because I already said from the beginning that the only thing that I can take on blind faith is the fact that we're not a brain of that, which is our presupposition of our sensory
You
data.
have faith in something.
That's the only thing we can take on blind faith. That's the only thing that I can take on blind faith, and that's the only thing
Okay.
well, not just you, but that's the only thing all of us can take on blind faith.
No.
We have to use our
Don't put
presuppositions.
us, Chris. No. Let me finish my exercise. So my justification for my
My nigga, fuck
worldview
your
is
exercise. How do you
okay.
demonstrate your God? I don't care about the
Okay.
exercise. How do you
Okay.
demonstrate
So
your God?
yeah, he's getting upset. Hallelujah.
Bro,
The
fuck the
demons are coming
exercise.
out.
How do you
Okay, perfect.
demonstrate your God? How do you demonstrate your God?
Jesus
How do you
is God.
demonstrate it?
Okay, perfect. I'll show you by the impossibility of the justification that you can account for logic and I can.
Stop
because
doing that, bro. Stop doing that.
concepts-
Stop doing that.
Listen,
Tell me what you're actually trying to say, bro. What? Because
I'm showing.
this is what I'm trying to. This one. Hold on. Hold on. Ion. Give me a second. Give me a second. Hold on. I'm gonna let you finish. I'm gonna let you finish. I'm gonna let you finish. I promise 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 I'm gonna let you finish. Because I'm not trying to have this type of contention. I promise to let you finish. This is what I'm trying to say, bro. Me and you, we can talk as normal human people, right? We don't need to speak like dictionaries or philosophical terms. We don't need to do that. So when you do that, it sounds like word salad because these words don't always go together in the way that you're trying to say them. We don't need to do the full bro shit, bro. Just talk to me as a regular human person. We're not professors of philosophy here.
I never said we were. Thanks
Okay,
for the
cool,
straw man.
cool. Okay, great. That's not a
just got
straw
mad,
man.
fam.
That's not a straw man. That's not a straw man. I'm just saying that's not what we are. We don't need to speak that way. If you're trying to say something, tell me what you're trying to say. You already said that. You've already said that. You've already said that you can prove God exists. That your worldview is more coherent than mine because you believe that that God is real. I don't believe that God is real, but I'm using my sensory data. Okay, so what do you use?
Okay, and I'm showing you the whole point of this argument. And please let me finish because I don't think you understand because you keep saying justify your God. There is no paradigm where I can justify because you have no ground to stand on whenever it comes to truth. And the whole point of this argument is not a correspondential evidence, it is a coherent theory of evidence showing that's what's more coherent by justification, not by evidence or pure induction. So whenever you keep telling me to justify God, I'm showing that I can't justify a presupposition just like how you can't justify your presupposition. So the
Okay,
same way,
great.
stop.
So we're in
you
the
see?
same
Chat, look,
position. You
chat,
can't prove God.
No,
So you
listen,
can't prove God,
we're
right?
not in the same position. Let me finish.
You just said you can't justify
Listen,
God. You
chat,
just
y'all
said
see
that.
how he's interrupting me? No. I'm
You
glad
just
you're
I'll let
catching
you
on.
speak, bro. You just
Let me
said you
finish,
can't
fam.
justify God. You
Let
just
me
said that.
finish. We're not in the same position
Chat,
because
he didn't
my
say that?
worldview is more
All right.
coherent. You have no
How?
justification.
How is
Because
your
I
worldview
can
more
say
coherent?
these are transcendental categories, and I can give a better
And
justification
how do you
because of
demonstrate
God.
that? And how
I
do you
start with the
demonstrate that?
presupposition. Listen, in formal logic, you have to
I don't care about informal logic.
the
How do you
presupposition
demonstrate
because
that your
how do
that your transcendental categories are
logic is
actually
logical?
correct? How do you demonstrate that your presupposition that God simply exists is actually correct? How do you demonstrate that? You just told me that you
Okay,
cannot.
listen,
So
quit
your
asking
hold
me.
on. Your
Yes, I can.
presupposition has
Go.
no justification, just like mine doesn't. So what are we talking about?
Yes, no, but mine is more coherent. We're not arguing
No, it
correspondential
isn't. Yours is
knowledge
not.
or
Yours is not
evidential
more
for
coherent.
pure induction.
Yours is not. The
We're
reason why
arguing for
yours is
more.
not more coherent. The
Listen,
reason
let
yours
me
is not
finish.
more
You're not
coherent.
letting me
The
finish.
reason
That's why
yours
it's
is
not
not more
coherent. You're a
coherent.
coward.
This is my life,
You're
not
a
yours.
coward. That's why.
All right,
That's
and
why.
you a bitch. Get off my life. Get off my life.
Okay,
Fuck
yeah,
you.
exactly. You
Don't insult me because I didn't insult you. You're your bitch ass. Fuck you. Get my mom, bitch ass nigga. The fuck's wrong with you? Do not insult me. I didn't insult you, did I? Pussy ass nigga. Come see me then, bitch. Fuck is wrong with you? And Max, shut your bitch ass up too. All right, RC, go ahead.
Hello.
My bad, man. Well, what's going on, bro?
So I see up here you say there's no good reason to believe in a God.
Correct.
Okay. Do you think there's good reason to believe that therapy works?
Yes, because we have empirical evidence that therapy works.
What is this evidence?
Research into it. There's the American Psychological Association that looked into therapy. There are also several categories of therapy. You can look into there's feminist therapy, there's solution-based therapy, there's narrative therapy, bibliotherapy, all that.
Yeah, I don't disagree that therapy works. So you can look into people's testimonies, you can look into brain scans and see if, objective measures to see if the therapy that they took, like cognitive behavioral therapy, is the most used form of therapy, like talk therapy.
Yeah. I just learned about that.
Right. So when you look at ending addictions, for example, Alcoholics Anonymous is a faith-based system, and it is more effective in ending addictions than cognitive behavioral therapy. So wouldn't you say that's a good reason to believe in God when people have turned their life to God and ended addictions and got healthier?
No, because you can still. Shit, I got a violation. Damn, that sucks. I got a violation, y'all. F1 in the chat. But yeah, I would still say no because belief systems, I don't deny that they can be effective on I'm not that they can be effective on people, turning people's life around, but that doesn't actually make what they believe to be actually true, if that makes sense.
Well, that's a separate question, but you said there's no good reason to believe in a God. Well, I'm telling you, there's definitely a good reason to believe in a God. You wouldn't say.
And you're saying that the good reason is the impact it makes on people's lives?
Yeah. That's a good
reason. The reason I don't think that's a good reason, because that could be for anything. Anything can make people's can impact people's lives.
Yeah, but in this case, we're talking about God. So are you going to not concede that wouldn't be a good reason?
That's not a good reason for me, no, because like that,
ending an
you
addiction,
can do anything.
You don't think? Ending an addiction is good?
Do you have to believe in God in order to end an addiction?
You don't have to, but it shows that it's more effective. Not a good reason. Well, it shows Alcoholics Anonymous is more effective than secular therapy.
Alcoholics Anonymous is effective because it's probably one of the biggest ones, and people like faith is very, very effective. Like I'm not going to deny that, but saying that, how much research do we even have on cognitive behavioral therapy versus Alcoholics Anonymous? Because most people will go to Narcotics Anonymous and Alcoholics Anonymous. You know what I'm saying? And most people wouldn't go to cognitive behavioral because it's just more expensive.
well, hundreds of millions of people go to both. So there is a lot of evidence out there, and there's a lot of statistics out there. But it's
Not
just
hundreds of millions, because cognitive behavior is more used more in the West, and it's used more in wealthier nations.
yeah. That's I mean, okay, then tens of millions. I'm saying in the total amount of time that cognitive behavioral therapy has been in existence, I'm pretty sure it's eclipsed over 100 million people that have attended. But sure, you have tens of millions of data points in both.
Not really. Let me see if I can find that. Give me a second. Give me a second. I think there's a paper on that.
Yeah, I do got to get going here in like 2 or 3 minutes. I didn't want to take too much more of your time. I just saw that.
Not a problem.
I just saw that point. There's no good reason. I think there's, and this is just one reason, but there's other good reasons to believe in God. I think that's. I don't know if you want to die on that hill.
Yeah, I mean, there are reasons to believe in a God, but I don't think there are any good reasons.
Yeah, I think when you wrote that, you mean there's no good argument that there is a God that exists.
Yeah, I don't think there are good arguments either. I mean, we've already went through all of that good arguments, but what I'm saying is that when I talk about a good reason, if you say that, hey, it impacted my life, that's cool, but anything can do that. You don't have to necessarily believe in God to impact your life, so that's not really a good reason. I think a good reason for me would be like, this is like this works better than anything else. You know what I'm saying? And the only reason why why we would say this works better than anything else is because there's simply more of them.
When coming to it, when applying that form of faith-based therapy to addictions, it does work better than anything else. Alcoholics Anonymous is more effective than any other secular version of it.
That's not what the research says, though, bro.
AA is more effective than when it comes to ending addictions. It is more effective.
What research says that?
I can pull it up on my iPad. I've had different articles that I've read, not just articles, but scientific-based articles. And yeah, AA has a higher or less turnover rate of people attending where they actually hold on to remaining sober.
Right. I mean, the thing is like, when we look at the evidence and the research on it, it's not that cognitive behavioral therapy is less effective. It just depends on the individual's perspectives. I'm saying it just depends on their processes. It depends on a lot of things. It depends on specific needs. And the thing is, we already live in a society where we're primed to believe in a God already. So yeah, AA can seem more effective in that way, but it doesn't necessarily it means it's more effective just because it's faith-based.
You said we're in a society that we're inclined to believe that a God exists. Well, every society all throughout history and every corner of the world believe in some kind of higher power. Why do you think that is?
Because humans are agency detectors. We see agency in almost everything. So that's gonna prime us to, believe that there's something more than us that has agency. People can see like you know the you ever heard of pareidolia, right? Pareidolia is where you see a face in something that doesn't actually have a face.
I haven't heard of that, no.
Yeah. But you ever see like you go into like your bathroom, right? And the two faucets and the
Oh,
little
yeah,
tube that
I
comes out.
understand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pareidolia, you see a face in there, but it's not actually a face. It's just a pattern. You see what I'm saying? So humans are pattern recognizing machines. And then because we had to be, because we evolved that way. So when we recognize patterns and when we when we recognize agency, because we have to in order to survive, that's gonna get superimposed onto everything that's inanimate. So most people, like, it's basically like a natural process of our minds to start to believe in something. There's even been studies on children where, because they have this type of pareidolia and agency detection, they start to believe in everything. Like, they believe in stuff. You see what I'm saying? Beyond what's actually real.
Got you. All right, man. It was good talking to you. I want to stay and talk longer. It just I have
You
to
gotta
get
go.
going now.
Not a problem.
Yeah. All right, dude. Thanks for letting me up. Appreciate it.
Not a problem. I appreciate you.
Yeah, have a good day.
Cheers, man. All right, y'all. I gotta go ahead and get out of here. I've been on live for about 4 hours, and I gotta FaceTime my girlfriend. I'm pretty sure she's mad at me right now. I've been live in about 4 hours, and listen, y'all. I know I got a violation. I went a little crazy yet with the other guests before this last one. Listen, y'all, I'm not gonna insult anybody. I don't insult anybody when I'm on these lives. I try to have these discussions. I try to be calm. But if you're gonna be disingenuous, not disingenuous, but if you're gonna be condescending, and if you're gonna start to insult people, I'm gonna hit you back with it. It's not about being mad. It's about understanding. You don't need to use these words that you just learned in your Phil Bro class at last week in order to have a discussion. Let's just talk. This is what the name of the live is. The name of the live is talk to me. You know what I mean? Talk to a person. Don't do this condescending shit. Don't do this like I'm gonna exercise. Like, come on, yo. Like, don't do all that. And I'm not gonna insult anybody. You feel what I'm saying? If Ion ever comes back, I'll talk to him normally. But if you come up and insult me, I'm gonna insult you back. Like, don't do all that. I'm saying don't do too much. Like the ladies say. Like the ladies say, don't do too much. Yeah, GHD. I am. I know you just joined, but I'm gonna get out of here, man. I've been on for 4 hours, bro. I've been for 4 hours. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. I know about Darth Dawkins. I am not talking to that guy. I am not talking to Darth Dawkins. All right, he's even worse than the other people that I brought up. He's even worse than them. Like, I am not talking to that guy. He's terrible. All right, GHD, go ahead and ask me one thing, and then we'll go ahead and get out of here. I don't know if you want to come up or not. Oh yeah, I can invite you up. All right, GHG, I'm gonna invite you up. We'll talk for like 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here.
Okay.
What's good, G?
Hey, man, I've been up here 4 hours, man. I'm not gonna keep you long.
Not a problem.
After reading text boxes, man, I see you're clearly an atheist.
Mhm.
I won't keep you long, man. One question, and I'll catch you next time and come have a conversation with you. I was wondering, have you ever heard about the messianic prophecies?
Yes, but I'll tell you the truth. I'm not a biblical scholar. I do know
Sure.
one named Justin. His name is Deconstruction Zone. He does go through that the messianic prophecies, and according to a lot of the evidence that he's presenting that I see, he didn't fulfill any of them.
Okay, well, we could have a conversation about it next time. Anyways, man, enjoy your evening, man.
You too, man. You have a good one.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Peace. Yeah, Darth is definitely on another level. Like, I don't, yeah. And yeah, Justin knows way more about the Messianic prophecies than I do. I haven't studied any of that stuff yet. So if anybody wants to talk about that, I would always punt it to him. I would say, talk to Justin about that. He knows way more about that. He has a lot of the evidence that Jesus didn't fulfill any. If you have evidence that he did, it's gonna be useless talking to me about it, because I don't believe that Jesus was divine. You should talk to him. Yeah, I mean, and then he'll you guys can have a discussion on that if you have the evidence. But yeah, like I was saying, like, don't go onto people's lives insulting them or whatever, and trying to talk like a professor or anything like that. Like, we don't need to do that. I talk to people regularly. All right, I'm not a Phil bro. I know a little bit about philosophy, but I'm not one of these Phil bros that took 2 philosophy classes in a community college and listened to William Lane Craig and Darth Dawkins, and all of a sudden they're the biggest geniuses in the world. Like, fuck all that. I don't care about mental exercises. Tell me what you're trying to say. Can you demonstrate it? How do we know it's true? And if you can't justify it, then then we're in the same position. And don't come up here insulting people, bro. Like, for real. If Ion comes next time and we have a good discussion, I can have a good discussion with him, because we started off straight. But the moment you get into insults and being condescending, I'm gonna get that back to you. I'm gonna give you the same energy. Like, don't do all that. But I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. I do appreciate you guys. We got up to 18K likes, 22 people in here. I do appreciate you guys. I will be on live again tomorrow, and y'all have a good one. All right.